Hey guys, welcome to this video. In this video, I've done a few takes on this. I know I always say at the beginning, but in this one, I get more and more annoyed the more I do these takes. So originally I had this video structured a bit better, but it's going to be a bit ranty now because I just am really frustrated at Riot and the rank system and all this bullshit in front of me. What in particular am I frustrated about? What am I angry about? Season 11, Bruiser itemization. What the fuck, Riot? And I'll probably get demonetized for saying that the first minute of the video, but just what the fuck, Riot? Can we talk about this? On the last two patches of this season, Riot decides they're gonna rework Gore Drinker and utterly destroys bruisers. Not all bruisers, but a lot of them. They destroy them. They do this patch, and then the next one they buff it up so it's at least playable. These are the last two patches of the season. This is the last month of the season. We can see the last change they did was a buff back in 11.10, so nearly half a year has gone by with many of these champions not seeing any changes, many of these champions just being right here, right? And what happens? Riot decides they're just gonna utterly annihilate Gore Drinker, change it to this jank Omnivamp that sucks thing, and okay. So what you see here, let's go back to 11.20. In 11.20, do you see Gore Drinker dominating top lane and Gore Drinker generally being the must-pick item? No. We can see amongst the top 20 that it's not really making many appearances. Even if we restrict it to the top 10, it's only got 5 champions. So it's making him half of the top 10, but not even the #1 champion. So, what's going on? Riot decides they're just going to randomly destroy Gore Drinker. On this patch, 11.20, we can see these are stats, Master Plus, top lane, 11.20. Everybody see that? Okay. They do this massive revamp, utterly destroying the item. Now let's look here. Aatrox looks balanced, Set looks balanced, Irelia looks, well, she's Irelia, I hate that champion. Riven looks overpowered. So Riven looks overpowered, Fiora looks overpowered. Now, these are two champions who scale really well with attack damage. Really, really well. They scale very well in the late game. So when we nerf Conqueror, and that's one other thing I forgot to mention, they nerf Conqueror and they nerf Gore Drinker. Yes, these champions got hit hard. But now let's fast forward to 11.22. We've seen that Riven had to get buffed by Riot. She did get buffed by Riot. Renekton had to get buffed by Riot. Aatrox is down here. Set is way down here. Irelia swapped to a different item and is actually doing better. Imagine that. But this is the last two patches of the season. This is the last month. In the last month, my champion gets dunked on into basically unviable territory. His pick rate is dropping. It's just going to keep dropping as more and more people realize that, well, this just ain't shit. And I guess my rant, my complaint here is it really acceptable? I mean, should we ask ourselves that question? Is it really acceptable for Riot in the last month of the ranked season? Oh, I should mention, everyone make sure to like and make sure to subscribe and make sure to leave a comment down below agreeing or disagreeing with me on this. It's fine if you want to disagree, it's fine if you want to agree, leave a comment. Also, tell me what other kind of videos you want to hear me talk on, because as the preseason approaches, I quickly start running out of, well, content to talk about in the drought before we actually implement the preseason changes, okay? Anyway, so my question is it acceptable for Riot on the last month of ranked, before they lock in rank? And I am salty about this, and this is why I haven't been playing ranked, and this is why I haven't been really doing much of anything. What have I been doing? I've been playing Age of Empires 4 on my Variety channel. Gotta see that? Go into the description, there's a link to my Variety channel. Great, okay. So, is it really acceptable for Riot to just destroy an item that has been in the game unchanged for half a year? Is it okay for Riot to destroy this item because a few champions are abusing it? This would be much akin to destroying Lord Dominic's Regards, which they were going to do, then decided not to. But that's the thing, not just balance, utterly annihilate. They didn't balance this item, they obliterated it. And I have a video talking about why Omnivamp sucks on bruisers if you want to go look at that. But it's just mind-blowing to me, because we can see here on this modern patch, Set gone, Aatrox gone, Irelia swapped to a different item. Fiora, well, she was so broken, she just swapped to a different item. Irelia swapped to a different item. Riven buffed, Renekton buffed. Why are we doing this on the last month of this season? Why not wait till preseason? You couldn't wait a month? No? You had to just destroy so for those of you who don't understand, what is a problem here? You have 4 bruiser items. Now, I'm not going to show them on the screen. Let's go back to Gore Drinker. So you have 4 bruiser items. Stridebreaker, Gore Drinker, Trinity, and Divine Sunderer. Trinity's been shit all season. Divine Sunderer is Spellblade. Now, just to be clear, Spellblade items are balanced on champions multi-procking them. If you don't multi-proc them, your champion isn't balanced on using them, right? If Divine Sunderer was so good that you could only proc it once or twice in a fight and it would be viable, then it would be turbo broken on the champions who can proc it 3 or 4 times in a fight. Do you understand how that works? It's not balanced on only hitting it once or twice. So you can't use it on champions like Renekton or Aatrox. That's just not how the item works. It wouldn't be balanced if you could, right? So realistically, your only choices are Stridebreaker and Gore Drinker. Well, I tried to balance Stridebreaker, and if I could, I mean, can I let me pull this up here. I mean, the last change we saw in Stridebreaker was what? Yeah, I mean, this was what, 11.14? This is back in July, and this is when they kind of just murdered it because Nocturne was abusing it. So we tried to rebalance in 11.13, and then they nerfed it into the ground 11.14, and it hasn't really even been picked since. And so what do you else do? You got Gore Drinker, right? So it's just, of course, everyone's gonna go Gore Drinker. That's the only item you have, unless you have the capability of multi-procking a Spellblade. So again, and I know I'm hitting this hard here, is it acceptable to just randomly just blast into the fucking ground Gore Drinker and leave many champions dead on the last days of ranked? And that's the problem. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Is it acceptable on the last days of ranked to have done this change and just blasted these champions into the ground and you just leave it there? And that's just it. You're just done. Again, they were going to nerf Lord Dominic's Regards, and I assure you, probably not nerf it as bad as they were going to Gore Drinker, but they decided not to, saying, we'll look into it in the preseason. But then they come over with Gore Drinker, and again, Turbo Blast into the fucking ground. It's an unfair dichotomy. It's one class is not blasted into the ground because they don't want to do that on the last days of ranked, and another class blasted into the ground on the last days of ranked. Do you see how unfair that feels to me, and particularly people trying to play these champions? It feels very unfair, and it feels very stupid, and I hope I'm getting my point across here, because it feels shitty, and it has killed a lot of my enthusiasm for the game, because I thought Riot as a company was past this. They've done this shit before where they just randomly destroy people. If we look at Mord was dead this entire season, and I feel bad about that, but he's still somewhat viable at the low ranks, and they have buffed him, and realistically he's kind of the odd man out, and he's only one champion, right? But they just, again, let's just look at the top champions. Renekton had to get buffed. Fiora had to swap her item. Irelia had to swap her item. Riven had to get buffed. Aatrox is dying. Set is dying. Can I even find the other one? No, because there's just no one else using Gore Drinker in the top ranks anymore. Oh my god. Yeah. I'll probably just make that the video. That's it. It's just my frustration with this. And I wanted to do this video when the change was happening, but I decided Gore Drinker was really hated at the time. And a lot of people were rooting for the change and saying, this is good. We like this nerf. This is good for the game because I hate Gore Drinker, blah, 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 blah. And I knew the timing wasn't right. That if I made a video, if I said anything, that people would disagree with me, say that I'm wrong, etc., etc. And I made the Omnivamp video to try to like side skirt it and not exactly talk about Gore Drinker. But definitely this video is me saying, with the end of season stats in, with us seeing directly in front of us how impacted it has made the game, was this a good idea to do? No, this was not a good idea to do. They should not have done this. They should have just nerfed Kiana, which they did anyway, because shockingly, even after they nerfed Gore Drinker, she just swapped to a different item and dominated on that item too. They had to nerf, what was the other one? I don't even know. They had to nerf those champions anyway. So they nerfed Gore Drinker, then they had to nerf those champions, and now my champion is gone. And that's my video. That's my rant. Okay. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Everybody's made it to the end. If we've made it to the end, please join my Patreon. The link is also in the description, as is my variety channel where I'll be playing EU4, which you guys can all watch. It's a pretty fun game. Thank you all. Appreciate you all for subscribing to my Patreon. That is extremely beneficial and helps me continue to make these videos. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And have a great day, great night, great rest of your time. I'm going to try to put out daily videos. So again, if you have ideas for videos or you want things to be over, go into the comments and tell me that. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. Upvote. Well, you can't downvote anymore, so just thumbs up comments that have ideas you want me to go over. I'll consider them because I run out of ideas very quickly because, well, I don't know why. Anyway, thank you all. Bye-bye, everybody.